to speak. Just be careful with the cable because it's a little bit touchy, so don't try and stay still when you. And I'll go on now.
Please welcome Armadale Soccer Club and Cockburn City Soccer Club to the field for today's men's State Cup final.
Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Inglewood Stadium for the 2022 Men's State Cup final between Armadale Soccer Club and Cockburn City. Thank you so much for joining us today on this bumper day of State Cup final action. We've had wins for Bayswater in the 18s, for Perth Soccer Club in the 20s, and then we just saw a cracking clash between 100% record holders in the NPL women's competition, Perth Red Star, who won by 2-1 after a really good game. And this is the final of our 4 cup finals today between Armadale Soccer Club and Cockburn City. We're live and coming at you across the Football West Facebook page and on the YouTube channel as well, and you can even view us on npl.tv as well across the state, the country and the world as well. As the referees for today's game shake hands with the skippers of the respective sides, Kevin Ashwood and Harry O'Brien. Your referee for today's game is Joshua Manella. He'll be assisted by Albert Miyembe and by Liam Howgate as well, with Shane Skinner as the 4th official. So just while we wait for a little bit of the pre-game admin to take place, and while both teams switch ends and no doubt gather in huddles for one final rousing flourish before kick-off commences, it's an opportunity to bring in my co-commentator for this afternoon's fixture, North Perth United defender and all-round good guy Kalichi Asunua. Thanks for joining me as always on these big days, Kalichi. What are you looking forward to seeing today? Two teams who we perhaps don't normally see on this big stage, but that's arguably going to make the game even more exciting because they're going to be so desperate to win the silverware.
What an introduction. Thank you so much, Tommy. It's an absolute pleasure to be there. But between Christmas, top 4 cup final day and Mother's Day, this is right up there in terms of the favourite days of the year. And as you mentioned, this does have a bit more of an edge to it because these are teams who I think Armadale are looking for their second trophy in the history of the club as well, especially their 50th year. And Cockburn, they've been playing spoilers all season in terms of the results they've been getting, so it's obviously a huge game. And the fact that it's a State Cup final game, it's a game where theoretically Sunday League teams could be in here, same as State League teams. It's always a big game, so it's good to see such a bumper crowd here for it as well.
Yeah, the crowd's been building nicely throughout the afternoon. We've had good Attendances in the house for all 4 games. In truth, especially in the women's game, the last fixture as well, it's been a really good day of action here at Inglewood Stadium as Cockburn break from their huddle and Armadale have a few final words before the moment is upon for them to try and bounce back from Thursday's round of 32 Australia Cup defeat to Modbury Jets. So we're not far away from a start on one of the headline days in the WA local football calendar. The first major piece of men's silverware up for grabs. The usual heavyweights in the state aren't around to pick a fight today, which means the chance presents itself for these two sides to have a day to remember forever. A monumental moment or a missed opportunity, which side of the coin will it land on for Armadale or Cockburn today? We're about to find out. The 62nd edition of the State Cup gets underway at Inglewood Stadium with Cockburn kicking from the left of your screen to the right, wearing their predominantly all white jerseys. Armadale wearing predominantly all black, kicking to the left. What do you think is going to be one of the important factors in today's fixture, Kalichi?
First and foremost for Armadale, it's a chance to get a bit of redemption after, like you mentioned, the midweek's disappointing result. So to think about that in that aspect of the next game that you get is a huge chance to bounce back, and it's a cup final. That's a huge one. The other thing at play, of course, is Cockburn haven't played their round of 32, I think.
Round of 32.
Yeah, round of 32 fixture. So one or two of those players have an eye on that fixture. Maybe they don't go into tackles as hard as they could be. Maybe they save a bit of legs for that trip to Brisbane. Might have to see that one, Tommy.
Yeah, Wednesday night, that fixture against Brisbane City, the only remaining WA hopeful on the national stage, and boy, would it be good to see them get the win and put a feather in the cap for the WA local football scene as pass comes out wide here for Daniel Doles. Previously with Sterling and Inglewood, been with Cockburn for quite a while now. Harry O'Brien's turned around the corner for Daniel Robinson. Oh, it hits the post and just goes wide of the mark. That would have been a lightning start for Cockburn had Robinson put his shot inside the post.
What a chance that is, and you could see the play that just happened there. An easy ball up top to O'Brien, and Robertson had the freedom of the park to just kind of stroll in there, unchecked as well, Tommy.
It was a little bit easy for Cockburn to get in behind there. We saw during the week, Modbury Jets in particular were able to prize open the Armadale defence at ease time and time again, leading by 4 goals to 1 at half-time, and they were nearly caught out early doors here by a ball over the top, which Robinson ran onto, and couldn't have come that much closer to getting the game's opening goal.
Obviously missing Lazaro today, Cockburn, and you can tell that Robinson is also one of those telematics figures for the club. He's been a goal scorer from midfield for quite a while as well in the NPL, Tommy.
He is, yeah. He's one of the key contributors is Jesse Lazaro. Player with a lot of class, a lot of ability, former Perth Glory youngster as well. There'll be a big miss for the Cockerels today. Here's Harry O'Brien, who's wearing the captain's armband. Cross comes into the area. Good start by Cockburn. Costello with a header away. Robinson will try and pick it off, though. He'll lay it back. Going to ground. In the area was O'Brien, and Cockburn rewarded a penalty. It's been a strong start from Mirko Jelisic's team. And having hit the post early on, they're presented with an opportunity from 12 yards to take the lead. Early thoughts on that, Kalichi?
I couldn't see it from this angle, but trust Josh Manella to have the perfect angle. He was right there for it. But also just want to say superb work by Robertson again. He won that ball back, took a couple touches and tried to lay it off there for O'Brien. So you can see that defensive work that they put in is so high up the pitch.
So Robinson is on penalty duties for Cockburn. He steps up and scores! Breakthrough Cockburn goal on Cup final day. They simply love the big games to the Cockerels, and they take an early lead.
What a start for Cockburn. You couldn't script this any better. They had that initial chance where Robertson was through and then come back and win the ball. Armadale just haven't started, and it will be interesting to see how they respond, because they might have they might still have some short memories from that midweek game where they did take a pasting. So there's going to be a real test of that character from Armadale. They need to make sure these next 5-10 minutes nothing silly happens.
So the perfect start for Cockburn City and for Mirko Jelisic's side. Robinson's been with the club for a long time, a regular at MPL WA men's. Level down at Down Mananac Park as Armadale tried to find a response. Jacobs was trying to poke back to Osman, couldn't do so. Coombson puts out into touch just on Robinson. A really nice story for him. He hit double figures in 2016, scored 9 times in 2018 as well, and then spent a long time off the field with injury. Play with a lot of talent, and we do still see that shown and displayed on a consistent basis now that he's really sort of getting back to finding his full fitness and playing his best football.
Daniel Robinson.
Robinson got the goal in the win over Cockburn in the Cup, back in the quarterfinals. Kalichi.
I was just going to say, it is good seeing him back on the field. He is such a talented player, and he takes the ball in such tight places, and it's always good seeing players who are really keen on actually playing the game. It's, as a defender, it's one of those hard things that I can't do it, so it's always good seeing people who can do it, Tommy.
Nice cushioned header down by Skorich. Robinson left it behind. Osman will go back to Cameron Thurston. Connor Thurston, my apologies. Got my C's mixed up there. Youngster who's made that fullback position his own. Taking that spot with Kevin Gallo, leaving mid-season to go to Stirling Macedonia in the transfer window. Coombson. Osman. Ball forward was cut out by Doles. Back forward it goes again. Jelenovic, a little bit too far ahead of him.
Osman's had a really good season so far this year, especially in his debut season, but he's going to need to just calm things down a little bit here for Armadale. That's twice he's had the ball there in positions where he could have taken an extra touch or played it out wide and just had them slowly build. And we know that they're a direct team, or they can be a direct team, but they've had a lot of success this year where they've taken the time to give it to the likes of Jacobs, to give it to the likes of Atta and Gordon, and they need to get those players on the ball just yet.
How difficult is it when you concede an early goal like that, Kalichi? You obviously have that conversation that we saw out on the pitch. Boys were gathered in a huddle. They would have done their work in the past couple of days, had a little bit of a conversation. What sort of mental resilience does that take to have to try and bounce back from conceding that early goal?
The mental resilience is the key word there. It depends how you're kind of wired. So if you take it from a positive perspective, you could say, look, the worst things possible has just happened. So we can only kind of get better from here. And that just means that you've just got to consolidate, go straight back to basics, and just try to build again. The last thing you want to do is try to go crazy and try to chase the game, especially when there's 80 something minutes left. So right now it's just a case of calming it down, knowing that you've got plenty of time, and even if it becomes a case that you're down 1-0 with 5 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, you can still be in the game. The last thing you want to do now is kind of go crazy and become 2-0 down, and then it becomes panic station. So you've just got to keep composed, go straight back to the principles, because the coach has given you principles on how to play the game, and it's not just thrown out the window after 5 or 10 minutes.
Osman was fouled in midfield. Armadale get the free kick. As Kalichi said, he's had a really good season as a central midfielder. Thurston's over the free kick. He's lofted it into the area. Header was flicked on by Atta. Jacobs could still keep it in play here. Turns it back towards the penalty spot dangerously. Cockburn should be able to complete the clearance. Poked away by Robinson. O'Brien just lost his bearings a little bit, I feel. Possession back Armadale's way. Raking ball forward from Ashwood. Very direct pass looking for Angel Andres Rivera. And coming off his line and claiming was Ryan Barker. Michael Craggs is the usual number 1, but he actually started the season at Cockburn. Sorry, at Armadale, my apologies. So he's ineligible to play today. Barker actually played a pretty good role in the fixture at Percy Reserve. That semi-final win by 3-1 over the Goals. Cockburn started their cup run with a 5-0 win at Perth AFC and then won by 4-2 at Joondalup United. And then had some good wins against Stirling Macedonia and Sorrento FC en route to today's final. Armadale, meanwhile, with a 7-3 win over Gosnells in round 1. They then beat Perth, Inglewood and Bayswater to cement their place in the final. So you can't say it was deserved. Although things just have started to wane a little bit for John O'Reilly's team after an encouraging middle part of the season. They'd lost only 1 game in 12 in League and Cup. They've lost 3 of their last 4 and they've conceded 5 goals in recent defeats to Red Star and to Glory and to Modbury midweek as well. So they're going to need to stay compact and tight if they are to ensure that they're not blown out completely, although they do have a chance to put another ball into the penalty area again, attacking the side of the ground where all the fans are gathered behind it, near the bar and the facilities here at Inglewood. On the volley from Osman, would have been an absolute screamer if he hit the target from there, but over the bar it sails.
Yeah, you did mention that Armadale's form of recent hasn't been that great, and it's always difficult, especially when the coach publicly comes out and says, look, the next few games don't really matter because everyone's kind of got the eye up on the State Cup final game. He said, look, there's a rehearsal, these games are rehearsals for yourselves, but you can imagine that some players may have not have given it 110% for those matches, and so it becomes a difficult thing to go from a situation where you've lost 3 or 4 on the bounce to then go, all right, here we go, let's go straight back to our principle. So it'll be interesting to see how they get into it, but the last 5 minutes where they've had a bit more ball and started to be a little bit more progressive, that's what John O'Reilly has kind of input recently in this team.
Costello's ball forward, Andres Rivera is attacking and gathering that one easy was Barker. Andres Rivera, Cherno Bar making a run from midfield. Ball might still reach Jelenovic, who bundles into the back of Jeff Bright. Experienced campaigner, once of Mandurah City. Knows exactly what he's doing back there and drew the contact with all the expertise you could ask for. You'd appreciate that as a defender.
Me? No, absolutely. That's just one of those ones where you know you get your body in front, and as long as you invite that contact, you can go down and get a touch. Strikers don't like it, though.
Tarek Atta. Kevin Ashwood, the skipper. Thurston. Little ball up the line, gives Barr something to chase. Bright's there again to just lift it up the line. Ball didn't stay in play. Andrade Basto couldn't do so. Had a really good game in particular, did the fullback, the Cockburn number 20 against Sorrento. Last Cockburn game that I commentated on.
You've seen quite a few Cockburn games. Tell me, how often do they keep clean sheets? Because that's another thing to kind of keep in your mind there as the opposition, knowing that, look, if they are stern defense, and maybe it gives you a bit more urgency, but if you know, look, they tend to concede goals, you know you're in it right the way to the last couple of minutes.
7 clean sheets for Cockburn this season, which is quite surprising actually, considering they are currently in 10th position in the league. But when they do decide to show up, they're often very good, as we've seen. They've managed to claim the scalps of Floriat, of Stirling, of Perth Red Star.
They are giant killers, aren't they? And I think the only game against the top 4 that they had a bad time against was Bayswater right at the start of the season, when they had, I think, 3 or 4 games postponed.
Thurston driving forward, sorry Kalichi. Osman will turn and strike. It's deflected. Andres is showing a little bit of interest and Barker's able to gather. Yeah, they do. They also got a recent 1-1 draw away at Bayswater as well, so they do know how to step it up in these big games, and they currently lead by an early Daniel Robinson penalty to 0 here at Inglewood Stadium. 4th of our 4 State Cup final games today here in the West. Inside the first quarter of an hour here on the Football West Facebook page, on the YouTube channel, on NPL.tv also. And if you're late to today's action, we've had wins for Bayswater City by 2-1 over the unbeaten league leaders Perth Glory in the 18s. Perth then turned on the style thanks to a Sam Cook hat-trick and a 4-1 win over Sorrento. And then Perth Red Star, who are 14 from 14 in the NPLWA women's competition and who can win the league on Wednesday night when they play Perth again, defeated the Azzurri in the cup final a little earlier today by 2-1 with Jay Coleman getting the winner there. So that brings you up to speed with the day's events so far, and it's a beautiful day for football. A little bit of cloud cover in the background, but no breeze in sight, and we have had a lot of rain in the west over the last week or so, so we're very happy that it stayed away today for sure.
Certainly better than the weather we had yesterday.
Bars flick on. In fact, it was Osman in there, I think. My apologies. Got clattered into late. A little slow to get to his feet, but he looks as though he's all good. Ball is eventually worked back to Yusri Garsala, goalkeeper who made a lot of good saves on Thursday night. Possibly prevented the scoreline from getting out of hand. Former Sorrento, Morley Windmills, also Balcatta goalkeeper as well. Ball over the top here gives Andres Rivera something to chase. Faced up one-on-one by Doles. He's got that lovely close control as Rivera. He'll strike a goal, and it was straight at Barker, but he had to make the save in palming over. But that's a little glimpse of what the Spaniard can do. He can just create something out of nothing on the edge of the area.
He is so good on the ball in tight spaces in terms of manipulating his body, manipulating his shape, and the way that he plays is superb. So you can see getting the ball to his feet and the danger that it causes. And that's where Armadale are going to be really difficult, because they've always got goals in them. I don't think there's many games where they haven't scored a goal.
Armadale fans starting to find their voice behind the goal. Atta's corner in, it's aimed in deep. Ashwood was leaping. Oh, it's off the line! And then it was put behind by Daniel Santich. A lot of pressure for Cockburn to deal with there. Might have been Ashwood at the back post who headed that back across goal. And regardless, it beat Barker, but luckily for the Cockerels, there was a defender on the line to steer it away. Take 2 from Atta. This one's a bit more disappointing in terms of the delivery, and it lands on the top of the net, and Cockburn gets some respite in the form of a goal kick.
That's a huge let-off, especially after you've had that first one flash before your eyes. You don't want to have that added pressure of going, oh, here comes another fizzer in the box.
Doles up the line. Skorich. Santich lost the 50-50 to Jacobs, who continued his run forward from Andres Rivera's pass. Coming across there was Brecken Baker. Ashwood wanted a shout from his goalkeeper, didn't get it, took the safety first approach and put it into touch.
If there's one player who loves a shout, it's Ashwood. I could hear him in the midweek game all the way from the house, all the way up north, Tommy.
A couple of real experienced campaigners at the back for Armadale in Kevin Ashwood and in Nathan Costello as well, who missed Thursday night's game. Skorich leaps with him for the header. Lurking at the drop of the ball is Robinson. Getting an important foot in was Barr. Robinson will still have this though. Looks at the support. Gets it now in the form of Andrade Basto. Araya Kivjanovic tries to turn around the corner. Time for O'Brien to bring it down and lay off. Araya continued his run. Coombson with an important intervention. Andres Rivera went to ground and belatedly got the free kick.
It's gone quickly here.
And quickly taken as well, looking for the run of Jelenovic, who scored those 2 goals in midweek in the 5-2 defeat. Ball a little too far ahead of him though, and that'll run out for Barker. So a little bit of an end-to-end feel about this game. Early goal in a cup final always helps with that a little bit. As Coombson pokes forward for Tarek Atta, who'll drive towards the edge of the box, but just standing up there was Andrade Basto. Now Jakobs, little clip forward. He was watched over his own net by Barker.
It's been an interesting little bit of play there. Cockburn have been able to play out a couple times, but at the same time they've had a bit of joy going direct and trying to win that second phase as well. But Armadale's defensive shape has improved so much since that initial start of the game, where they are winning that first challenge, but they do need to make sure that they keep winning that second phase, because they are outnumbered rather, Tommy, in that midfield.
Oh, driving forward here was Osman, and getting down low to make the save was Barker. Not a known goal scorer is Abdul Osman, but when he gets close to the edge of the box, you can be sure that he's going to hit it.
There it is again, that's that second phase.
Cockburn looking to latch on another opportunity. O'Brien just had to check his run to stay on side, and that allowed Coombson to get back and make the clearance upfield. Flicked on by Jacobs. Araya couldn't bring it under. Another player who's been with the Cockerels for a long time, David Araya. Had a little spell with Western Knights. Was part of the Cockburn team who reached the State Cup final back in 2016 when they lost 1-0 to Floriat. And Cockburn obviously then represented WA on the national stage, losing 2-1 to Melbourne Knights, and Araya was on the score sheet that night. Another player who, like Robinson, has had his injury worries over the past few years, but good to see him playing in this final today. Osman jumping with Kivjanovic. Kivjanovic, the off-season recruit from Bayswater's under-20s. He's got that cultured left foot. It is a cliche, but there is always something cultured about that left foot, isn't there, Kalichi, when you see it?
It's always a cultured left foot or a wand of a left foot. It's never a cultured right foot or a wand of a right foot. He's just got a good shot on him. Us poor right footers.
Oh, Barker took his time. Jelenovic stole in. Barker got the challenge in. I think he got the ball, and I think that's a good decision from Josh Manella. He would have been blindsided to that. And Barker, not without a scare, was able to deal with it ultimately.
Luckily for us, it is on the near side, and you can see the ball ricochet all the way across because the keeper's come in and got a lot of the ball. He may have caught Jelenovic on the follow-through, though. Yep.
Looks as though the physio is going to be waved on just to give Jelenovic a little bit of treatment. There's a bit of a scary moment there, though, for Cockburn at the back. Barker just closed down a lot quicker than I think he expected to be. Jelenovic certainly made it interesting, but I feel from where we were sat and on first look, without having looked at a replay, that Barker got a good enough boot in there and won the ball cleanly, albeit at the expense of an Armadale corner, and Jelenovic still a little slow to get to his feet here.
The last delivery was a far post delivery, and it's interesting seeing Cockburn's setup here. I think they've got two men at the near post.
A couple of cheers from the crowd behind the goal as Jelenovic gets back to his feet. And Joshua Manella says that he's going to have to stay off the pitch for the next few moments or so while this corner's taken. So Atta's corner slung in deep, leaping was Osman. Ball will race away over on the far side, and it'll be take two. with Atta once again getting another crack at it. Actually started the season at Perth Soccer Club, did Tarek Atta. Came to Armadale to get some first team minutes, formerly of Forestfield United.
Was a loan system, I think. Yeah.
Atta's ball in, aimed in towards Jacobs. He won the header, I think. Spectacular effort over his head from Osman. And he made pretty good contact with it as well, and he forced Barker into a save. Still not clear just yet now. Robinson will slam it up the line. A terrific piece of technique, though, from Osman. Meanwhile, Cockburn will come the other way. Kivjanovic releases O'Brien down the right. He's got no one in support in the middle yet. Cross comes in early. It deflects off Costello and into the side netting for a corner at the other end.
And we can take a breath real quickly. Acrobatic display there from Osman, but again, he just caught himself being caught up top in the midfield, and there was so much space in that middle for Cockburn to launch that counter attack. So between him and Bar, there's going to need to be someone who just sits a little bit deeper and isn't pushing up high as much as they should.
Kivjanovic's corner teased in towards that 6-yard line. O'Brien may have got a glance on it. Armadale are able to partially clear. O'Brien with the secondary ball in. Jelenovic is happy to watch that one safely, and he'll try and launch the Army onto the counter-attack. Andres Rivera may have stayed on side here. Santic may have kept him on. Rivera in the penalty area, twisting, turning, just couldn't get it out of his feet, and Cockburn, the white shirts, were able to get back. Damage still not cleared yet, and Coomson with a flying cross, a teasing ball in, but no one on it at the back post to capitalise.
You could see Yorkham's absolutely furious at Andreas Rivera there. He had acres of space looking for that touch off there, but again, Andreas tried a little bit too much, but again, that's one of those things where you've got to take that with him, because he's such a mercurial footballer. You don't want to take that out of his game.
Of course, this is the second year in a row that Inglewood United have hosted the State Cup final. Last year's edition was a 1-0 win to Floreat over ACU Joondalup, with Carl Murray's second half winner the difference. The Cups have been pretty low scoring over the years. I've got to say, both teams have only scored once in the last 8 finals, and that was in 2019 when Bayswater played Floreat. We've actually not had more than 3 goals in a State Cup final since Sorrento's 4-3 win over Balcatta in 2012. So they are tight fixtures, as you'd expect these Cup finals. And as it stands, Cockburn have got a goal, and that's exactly where you want to be on a day like today, in front. Although Armadale, you just sense, are starting to grow into the game a little bit, shake off those cobwebs from midweek and from the first 5 minutes, and try to mount a response. It's Ashwood's ball in. Araya may have got a touch. Osman trying to juggle his way out of a situation. Chance for Coomson to cross. Whipped in. The header from Jacobs was on target. Tough one to try and generate the power onto it, but Barker still had to dive to his left and make the save.
There just wasn't enough whip there on the cross from Coomson, and Yorkham's tried his best in terms of getting something on it. But it is coming right back for Armadale right now. They are doing such a better job of getting back into this game and putting balls in dangerous situations.
Yeah, it's got a nice open feel to it, this one, hasn't it? As we mentioned in the introduction, these two teams don't often find themselves on the stage of the Cup final. Normally an occasion for the big hitters. Cockburn looking to make their mark this afternoon, break a 27-year drought since they last won the State Cup. Armadale looking to do it for the second time in 5 years, having won it in 2018 thanks to a Chris Jackson double, which gave them a 2-0 win over Croatia at Dorrien Gardens.
Great tracking back from the Cockburn left back there. He looked for all money that Atta was in, but he managed to get all the way back. And of course, I'm going to give the defender some love there, Tommy.
Wouldn't expect anything else. Kivjanovic wide to Andrade Basto. Now Araya. Kuvjanovic again. Cockburn just looking to try and exchange a few passes and maybe just take a bit of the sting out of Armadale's little burst that they've had in the last 5 minutes or so. Skorich with a nod down. O'Brien keeps it for Cockburn. Dangerous pass. O'Brien converged upon by two black and red shirts. Araya was there though, marshalling.
That's too easy for Cockburn. Cockburn can do that pass all the way out to the left wing for Skorich anytime they like, because Kumson's just not as big and tall as him, so it becomes even more important to win that second phase ball, because it is landing into that midfield and it gives Cockburn a chance to start again and to recycle.
Header on here, looking for O'Brien as we approach the half-hour mark of this Men's State Cup final. Cockburn still leading by that early Daniel Robinson penalty to nil. O'Brien was offside. Flag went up from Albert Miyembe.
O'Brien's remonstrating, but of course that touch didn't get a flick on from anybody, so he would have come from the offside position, come on and touch the ball there, so great officiating.
That's the voice of North Perth United defender Kalichi Asunwa. My name's Tommy Dolman, taking you through today's 4 cup final slate. Here in the west, cross comes in looking for Andres Rivera. Clearance from Brecken Baker. O'Brien looks to make good of it. Shouts for handball, nothing doing. Play continues. Bar for Thurston. Jelenovic with a cross. Jakobs is lurking. Kumson. Jakobs still to his outside. Cross into the area. Flying shot from Thurston. Still here for Armadale potentially. As Jelenovic drives a goal. Barker with a save. Cockburn haven't quite cleared their lines yet. Now they do. And they've got a chance to counter as well. It's 3-on-4. Wide left is O'Brien. He's got Skorich and Bright in the middle. Cross was behind all of them. But Robinson arrived and put it wide of the post. And he nearly had a second. It's end-to-end stuff here at Inglewood Stadium.
What a sequence of football. Armadale first almost getting a lead, getting an equaliser, superb save. It's cleared out by Robinson, and Robinson follows the pass all the way to the 18-yard and narrowly misses.
Magnificent work right there from Robinson. As Kalichi highlighted, he was there making the clearance in his own penalty area, and then the work rate to sprint and join the counter-attack and come within a whisker of doubling his team's lead. Good game this at the moment. Andrade Basto charging down Thurston's clearance. Garcella's got to go long and straight down the guts of the pitch. Going to ground was Andres Rivera, who...
That is just experience.
Bought the contact. Mirko Jelisic didn't look too thrilled with that decision. Quickly taken free kick, went astray though.
And that is just...
And Cockburn have got a 4-on-2 again here. This time Kumson though got back and cut out the pass, but very ragged at the back from Armadale at the moment. Shouts for handball, not spotted by the officials. Skorich's cross. O'Brien lost his footing and Thurston was able to plant upfield. Rivera. Free kick to Armadale. Andres Rivera getting a little bit frustrated, wanting some further punishment for Brecken Baker, but Joshua Manella opts to remain on the lenient side of the decision-making process, and it'll just be an Armadale free kick in a position where they can potentially get some numbers forward and attack. Maybe a little bit too far out for a shot.
It's not like Andres Rivera to be having a chat to the referee. But it was a superb turn and a bit of play there for him, and good defending once again from Kumson. And we were just speaking about a little bit of inexperience there from Cherno Bar in terms of making sure that that Armadale free kick was set up.
Ashwood's ball in towards the back post. Barker came with two fists and beat it away. Now Andrade Basto looking to race away down that left-hand side. It was a feature of his semi-final performance against Sorrento. Atta was tracking him back though, and he had to reverse back for Araya. Bright. Araya. Harry O'Brien goes to ground. Cockburn free kick. Mirko Jelicic has done a really good job with this Cockburn team. It has to be said, their start of the season was hampered by COVID cancellations and injuries as well, and they've bounced back. They've more than guaranteed their position in the NPLWA for next season, despite a couple of questionable moments earlier in the season. 14 points clear of the bottom of the table, Balcatta, of course. As Kivjanovic floats the ball in, cleared away by Ashwood. And just on Jelicic as well, it's his third stint at Cockburn after spells in 2003 and 2008. Also part of the Uzbekistani national team coaching staff as well. So, coach with plenty of experience in a range of different places.
Wow.
Winning the Asian coaching Lokomotiv Tashkent in the Asian Champions League as well. So, plenty of experience abroad, but this would be a heck of an achievement if he's able to guide Cockburn to cup glory here. Meanwhile, O'Brien will try and lash on the volley once, twice, blocked on both occasions. Still here for Skoric. Couldn't quite pick out O'Brien, and Barr will hook over his shoulder. Still not clear just yet, though. Ashwood, lost his footing. Now Costello will spoon it upfield, and Armadale can clear their lines.
Just an all-action couple minutes there, especially from Cockburn, getting a bit more joy, starting to play out from the back as well. And superb defending there from Ashwood in terms of just getting his body, blocking it once, twice, three times. Tommy, you've seen Cockburn a lot more than I've seen them. Do they usually play with three at the back?
We'll come back to that in a second. We'll just watch how this attack unfolds first with Thurston. Osman, twinkle toes, gets past the challenge, pulls it back. Clearance as far as Kivjanovic, who's got O'Brien out wide, who then goes back to Andrade Basto. Armadale are able to get numbers back. Just to answer your question before, Kalichi, yeah, I was a bit surprised, I must admit, when I did see Cockburn in a 3-5-2 formation in the Cup semi-final. It was something that in the games that I'd previously seen them in the league, they'd played with a back four. They've been working on that three, possibly to deal with that front two of Jackson and Marilander. Maybe just having that extra number in the centre of defence, and maybe they've opted for that again with obviously the threat of Rivera and with Jelenovic as well. That front two, just having that extra might make the difference, and it worked for them last time out, so why not again possibly? But
also saying that obviously they are missing Lazaro, but the reason I mention it is that was the formation that Mulberry Jets played with such success against Armadale, so it could have been a case of replicating something that the opposition provided. Yeah, good observation there. Tough challenge in midfield between Costello and Santic. Santic got the opening goal in that semi-final against Sorrento at Persidor Reserve. That was after a lovely free-flowing team move down the left-hand side. Lovely little interchange of passes for the midfielder, who can also play full-back. Slotted it in. Familiar name, the Santic name. Christian, of course, a proven performer with Perth Soccer Club over the years. He also played at Cockburn as well during the COVID season in 2020. Also has a sister who's an equally as good footballer as well. I think their last season was with Fremantle.
Robinson, support wide from Andrade Basto. He's got Bright back and Baker, and now Doles. That back three just exchanging passes, and then a wild pass from Doles. Put a little bit too much heat on that one, and Santic couldn't get anywhere near it.
That is an absolutely unnecessary pass, not in terms of the execution, but also you've got an overload in the midfield. You've got 3 in the midfield, so if you just take a couple seconds extra, you might find Araya, you might find Robinson just free waiting, because it's just 2 in the midfield for Armadale. And as good as Andreas is, he's not the best at tracking back and going into that midfield area.
Up the line from Bright. O'Brien tried to flick it on. Lifted forward by Ashwood. Andres Rivera. Utter, now Osman. Coomson invited forward to attack from full-back. He'll fancy his chances against Sancic with his pace. Sancic did well to keep up with him, though. Coomson wants his left side. He's going to get on it as well. Cross is aimed in deep. But Tarek Atta on the volley. And then Rivera overhead. Jakobs, Jelenovic, still not clear. Chaos in the penalty area. And eventually Barker just dives on it, and I've never seen a goalkeeper more grateful to dive on a ball than in that moment, Kalichi.
The ricochets that are happening here. Armadale are building it up and putting a lot more pressure, but Cockburn just seemed to keep getting away with it. And again, Baker's just in the right position. But I do want to take a quick second to say that bit of play from Osman all the way up to Coomson, that's exactly what you want from your centre midfielder. Efficient, couple touches and spreading the play. With that shape, the fullback should be wide open every time for Armadale, so they should have that space there for them.
That's his pass cut out, Kalichi, by Skoric, who poked forward and was a little bit too far ahead of Robinson. Sorry, Kalichi, I cut you off there.
No, that's absolutely fine, mate. It's action play. People don't want to hear me giving them tactical analysis all the time.
Costello leaping in between a couple of Cockburn bodies to try and win the header. Osman just starting to come into his own here, fighting, battling, but conceding the free kick.
Yeah, he had a couple chances to get rid of it a little bit earlier. Took that extra touch.
We're actually going to see a yellow card here, perhaps for
dissent.
A little bit of dissent, and it'll be shown to Osman. First one of the afternoon, I believe. That's been brandished by Josh Manella.
Yeah, there is no excuse for getting booked for dissent, especially when the referee is right there. He's been a very naughty boy.
Upfield from Doles. Going to be aimed in towards Skoric. Andrade Basto, now Araya. Forward from Bright. O'Brien comes inboard. Still going, Harry O'Brien strikes a goal, deflected. Took the sting out of it. And Garsalak can come across and defuse the situation. Oh. Atta skipping past Amang, driving at goal. Barker saw it late and it just hit him in the chest and bobbled away to safety. Armadale building the rebs here as we get closer and closer to half time.
That's just a creative and innovative play there by Atta to beat not just one player but to beat two and to unleash that shot. Had a bit of pep on that one.
O'Brien over the top. Flag will go up against Igor Kivjanovic. So a couple of minutes left before the 45 is up here at Inglewood Stadium. Yusri Garcella over the free kick, launching it long upfield. Breckin Baker was under it. O'Brien does really well to shrug off a couple of challenges and burst his team forward into life again. Skoric to his right.
Lovely run there from O'Brien.
Really good ball carrier, Harry O'Brien. Another former Perth Glory academy player as well, of course. As too was Scorich, who was alongside him. Seems like a long time ago now that Anthony Scorich signed a pro contract with Perth Glory as a youngster from Western Knights youth team. 17 A-League appearances before going on to play in the NPL in Victoria.
That's just cheaply given away there. But he's won it back.
Osman goes back in and wins after the mixed place pass. Thurston's ball in is aimed in deep towards Jakobs. Headed away from Santic. Angel Andres Rivera. What can he carve out here? He'll try and just fizz a little ball into the penalty area, and it's hoisted high and away to safety. And it turned out to be a good pass because Scorich was able to find O'Brien, who loves to run with the ball, as Kalichi said before, but he ran into Ashwood with it. And Armadale get their numbers back now. And in Cherno Bar, they will come forward. Ball crosses the line, and we're going to have 1 more minute of additional time in the first half to bring the first 45 to a close, and a chance to get some thoughts on the first half from yourself, Kalichi Sunwa. Cockburn, good value for their lead so far, do you feel?
Cockburn a good value for the lead, and they could have had 2 with that chance from Robinson as well. But at the same time, Armadale have been growing back into this game, and they've had some good chances, and Baker's done a really good job of keeping them in it as well. So it's a finely poised game, and hate to say a cliche here, but the next goal is crucial, Tommy.
Save those cliches for the second half, Kalichi. Plenty of time left in this one as Coombson puts it up the line. Josh Manella has a little look at his watch, allows play to continue for a little bit longer. Cockburn don't seem any real rush to get the ball upfield. Now they'll pull the trigger, maybe try and launch one final attack in the first half. They'll run out of time to do so, and that will bring to an end an entertaining opening first 45 minutes here at Inglewood Stadium. Really good game, chances at both ends. The game's decisive goal so far was scored after 4 or 5 minutes by Daniel Robinson, who stepped up to the penalty spot and sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. But that's far from the end of it in this half, though. Robinson had 2 brilliant chances to add to his tally. He hit the post with 1 and then arrived on the end of a counter-attack to plant just wide at the post. Armadale have had their chances as well. Abdul Osman with a spectacular overhead effort. Tarek Atta then stung the chest of Ryan Barker, who's also been a busy boy, making saves low to his left from the headers of Jakobs and Jelenovic as well. Half-time here, good game at Inglewood Stadium. It's Armadale 0, Cockburn City 1. Welcome back to Inglewood Stadium for the second half of our fourth game of 4 State Cup finals today. Armadale Soccer Club 0, Cockburn City 1 at the interval. Daniel Robinson's penalty. The difference between the sides so far. I've not got enough time to tell you about the amount of chances that both teams had at each end, though, in that first half. A very open affair. With lots going on, Armadale get us underway for the start of this second half, looking to bounce back and hit back after that elimination in the round of 32. Midweek just gone. One change at the interval to bring you news of. Callan Baker comes on for Cockburn, and he'll replace Igor Kivjanovic. So we'll have a little look at the shape and see what that does to Cockburn's way of playing. Meanwhile, Skorich looks to get Cockburn moving at the start of the second period. Getting a foot in there was Jakobs. Doles. Now Andrade Basto driving down the left-hand side. Looks to pull back, clipped into the area, close to the near post. Garcella dives on it and claims gratefully. And now that we've got a moment to pause, I'll bring back in my co-commentator Kalichi Silma for the start of this second half. Kalichi, what do Armadale have to do if they are to get back into this one? Have a think, and I'll come back to you in a second, because Jakobs is on the move, darting forward, but in the way of it was Daniel Doles. And now say your piece.
Cheers, Tommy. I was just going to say, Jakobs getting on the ball, Andreas getting on the ball. That's absolute key for them this half. Few too many times that pass coming into them were headers where they had to fight and scrap for, but if you can get it to their feet.
Robinson's pass, a good one, sorry, Kalichi. Andrade Basto will drive in. Oh, it might break for Harry O'Brien to double Cockburn's lead at the start of the second half. A goal at the beginning of each period of this one puts Cockburn into a strong position at the beginning of the half, and they lead by 2-0.
What a start for Cockburn. They started the first half in the exact same manner. Direct, purposeful, superb run there from O'Brien to then find that man on the left wing, and superb from O'Brien to keep following that up to get that touch in there. He finished with a plum, and you could see how much it meant to him, kissing the badge there, Tommy.
Loves Cockburn, does Harry O'Brien. He's been with them basically since the beginning of the NPL WA era. Had that little spell with Glory's Academy, as we touched on in the first half, but it's his goal. He got the goal that put Cockburn 2-1 up in extra time back in the semi-final, and he's put them into a strong position here. They've got work to do here, Armadale. They nearly had a chance to capitalise on a little bit of uncertainty at the back, but Jakobs couldn't quite get there quickly enough.
In the weirdest way, nothing really has to change for Armadale. They still need a goal, and I tell you what, if they can score one goal, at least with 15 minutes to play, it becomes a nervy proposition. So they just need to make sure that the next goal is theirs. Get that goal, put some pressure on Cockburn, and see what happens. You cannot concede a third right now.
Jelenovic. Tarek Atta, cross into the area, headed away by Breckin Baker. Arroyo got bundled into by Costello. And decision goes the way of Armadale, I believe. And Arroyo looked as though he was hit pretty hard by the big imposing figure of Costello, and he'll be waved on some treatment by the physio.
Came in like a wrecking ball there. Costello just charged in, managed to get a touch first, so I can assume that that's the reason why it was kind of given. He's getting up and he's going to find out that the referee was given, the free kick was given against him. He's going to be absolutely incensed.
Araya still looking a little groggy here. Gets back to his feet now. Going to have to come off the pitch for a moment or two just to gather himself and maybe have one final check over. We said it in the game before, though, when Sean Billum came off with 5 minutes to go. Good luck trying to keep players off the ground in a cup final in a game like this. This is why you play the game of football. These are the moments you want to be a part of. Obviously, the players' health and well-being is
Does that look like 10 meters?
paramount.
Does that look like 10 meters to you?
Josh Manella's marched it back and he's quite happy with where it's at. Andres Rivera tries his luck. Barker with a good save. Forced back and then over the bar from Atta. They've not been without their chances, Armadale. And there was another gilt-edge run right there.
He is going to be kicking himself, Atta. That's a clinical opportunity to get right back into this game. And can we say, Barker's been superb for Cockburn right now. He's kept them in this game. I know we've got 2 goal scorers, but the work that the goalkeeper's done builds so much confidence into your team as well.
The goalkeeper has been excellent, you're right, Kalichi. He's made a lot of important interventions. That save, a flying one to his right after Andres Rivera's free kick over the wall. Ball could have gone absolutely anywhere with Jakobs following it up. It landed at the feet of Tarek Atta and he just couldn't quite slam that one into the back of the net.
And a yellow card for Ashwood there.
He goes into the book and joins Abdul Osman of Armadale in collecting a yellow ticket this afternoon. Meanwhile, Cockburn looking to maybe add some more pain to the scoreline as far as Armadale are concerned. Andres Rivera, nice little layoff. Osman gets the better, wins the 50-50. Chance for Armadale to get forward. It's Jelenovic. Cherno Bar tries to wriggle away from the attentions of Robinson.
That's a great bit of defending there to calm things down and give players time.
Thurston, Jelenovic, Bar, good football from Armadale, clipped in, Barker's under it and gathering with 2 hands.
It's 2-1-2 right now.
Launched upfield long. Well spotted Kalichi. Costello wins the initial header. Coombson's now back in support, but that's not going to stop O'Brien from just happily watching that one out and giving his team a throw. Pass to Andrade Basto, who got the, well, not the direct assist for the last goal, but his cross into the area was a big reason for the confusion that ensued, and Harry O'Brien was on hand to obviously force it home from close range. Bright's throw, Costello up in the air with the clearance. Bright with a long throw again, got some good distance on it as well. O'Brien tried to use his body, conceded the foul in doing so. Cockburn have actually got a really good record against Armadale in the NPL era. It's actually their first meeting in the Australia Cup / FFA Cup since that form of the competition began in 2014. Cockburn have won 12 of the 17 meetings with Armadale in the NPL era.
That's just too easy there. Not only he wins the header, but O'Brien has enough time to take a touch and turn.
Robinson will try and latch onto a raised little knock forward. Jakobs turning away from Daniel Santage, looking to make some headway down the left-hand side. He'll come in board. He's got Osman and Cherno Bar. They exchange a pass with one another. Now Bar's got a couple of options to his right. One of them is Atta. Thurston came in board. Tarek Atta will try to get to the byline, but Andrade Basto's had a good game and he's stood up the winger once again. Thurston, Bar, Atta, Bright comes across.
It's just a little too slow there from Bar. He had an opportunity to get the overlapping run there with Atta and overload, but he's just taken his time a little bit.
Piercing ball forward from Ashwood, cleared away by Callan Baker. Scorich then had a bit of a swing and a miss, and then Costello tried his luck from range. It was wide of the mark, and Barker was happy to watch it wide. Speculative effort from the Armadale defender, who actually missed the 2018 final, as he was away on holidays at the time.
You tell me he had that holiday pre-booked months in advance. He must have been spewing.
Bright. Andrade Basto. Daniel Doles wants to spin it wide for the run of Santich. Coombson gets there first. Tries to play it off Santich. Gets the ball back. Armadale just hemmed into that corner. Deep in their own territory. Eventually Coombson can lift clear. Attacking it was Callan Baker, the half-time substitute for Igor Kivjanovic, in case you're late to the broadcast in the second half. And if you were late, you may have missed Harry O'Brien's goal to make it 2-0. As early into the second half as Daniel Robinson's opener was in the first. As Thurston knocks forward, Jelenovic gives chase. Clearance was up and away from Baker, and now Cockburn will turn to the bench for the second time this afternoon, and it's going to be a Skorich swap. You see Anthony come off and Ivan come on. And in fact, it's going to be a double change because we're going to see Justin Tang also come on for Daniel Doles. So Mirko Jelisic keen to freshen things up. Tang, player who had a pretty good game in the semi-final as well, also has contributed with a couple of important goals this season. And Ivan Skorich got that sealing goal at Percy Doyle semi-final.
Tang's also been a lively presence in the games that we've seen him play as well.
Skorich.
9 and 17 both came on. Who came on?
Also scored the sealing goal a couple of weeks ago as well in a 3-0 win at Dalmatinak Park.
I saw 19 run on.
17 and 19 came on.
Yes, and 19 came on, but who was the other second person?
That one was against Stirling Macedonia. Sorry, my memory just escaped me there for a minute. Cockburn have come into this game in really good form though in the league. Just
9 and 4.
the one loss in their last 5 games. A couple of draws in the mix, but a couple of those draws very credible as well. They have had a really tough run of the Cockerels leading into this game. Obviously that win over Stirling Macedonia. But also they picked up draws against Bayswater and a 3-3 draw against Florida Athena as well. So they do come into this game in good nick. And they're looking the goods to claim the club's 6th ever State Cup final. But Armadale might have something to say about it. Jelenovic can't pick the pass for Andres Rivera though. And Coombson's leading the race back.
Just having a look, Tommy, and I think that they've had a bit of a tactical change.
Mistake at the back. Sorry, Kalichi. Ball in board from Osman. And it was cleared by Bright as the dangerous ball came into the area. What have you spotted, Kalichi?
Lovely touch to bring that down from Osman, but we could see Robinson speaking to the coach there, asking what the shape looks like, and pointed four fingers up in the air. So I think they've gone for a 5-4-1 right now, basically saying we've got the 2 goals, let's just shut up shop, go from there. It'll be interesting to see if Armadale do score, because it's hard to change tactics mid-flow and hard to change from a defensive mindset to back to a re-offensive one as well.
Mirko Jelisic will be very happy with what he's seen so far. John O'Reilly yet to turn to the bench so far. Has got all his changes up his sleeve still. Barker looked a little uncertain under the ball. Was eventually able to make good of it.
That's almost a nothing cross there from Mata. There's 4 defenders in there and a goalkeeper, and he's searching for Andres Rivera. It's going to be an absolute miracle ball when you could just take a touch, bring it back and apply a little bit more pressure.
Cherno Bar, Andres Rivera left it for Jacobs, who was bursting down the left-hand side. He's faced up by Callan Baker. Ball back here for Costello. Ashwood. No look pass from Thurston. Atta. Harry O'Brien was lurking. Costello got it upfield. A little bit of head tennis in the centre of the pitch here at Inglewood United. Eventually Ivan Skorich tried to turn around the corner for Harry O'Brien, but the pass missed the mark. Scorich again up the line, charged down by Coombson. And now Armadale will make a couple of changes. We're going to see Gordon Perkins and Charlie Kenner come onto the pitch.
Be replaced by number 19, Ivan Scott.
Tara Catter will be one of the players to make way, as will Cherno Bar. So, potentially like-for-like swaps there. I expect Perkins to play on the wing where Atta was, and for Kenner to come on in the centre of the park where Bar was.
Not been Cherno Bar's best game. He's such a up-and-coming, young, promising footballer, but a couple times today he just wasn't in position, or a little bit sloppy in possession. But again, it's a big game. It's a cup final, and Tommy, they're in here.
Well done from Even Scorich to get the better of Costello, and wins his team. Not a goal kick.
Nothing. You can see it right there. O'Brien's no longer playing. Oh, they're in here.
Costello's ball over the top. Half cleared by Cockburn. Cross from Jelenovic. Andrade Basto had to get there first and did. Play continues. Osman. Little clip in for Jelenovic to strike. Brecken Baker was across. Gordon Perkins then with a cross. Baker was out to meet it again.
Terrific defending there from him. But you can see right now O'Brien's no longer playing as that second striker. He's almost cheating, playing in that midfield, adding an extra person in there for them. Again, they have no need to score a goal here. It just becomes a case of, can Armadale break down Cockburn?
Here is Kenner on the throw. Just on Kenner as well, he's actually the only player in the matchday squad today for Armadale, who was part of that 2018 squad which won the Cup back in 2018. A lot of change for John O'Reilly's team. They have evolved. They are no longer the team that everybody predicts to be relegated at the start of the season, but they are trailing by 2-0 here in this State Cup final. Perkins working hard for his team, trying to make an impact. Just what you want to see from Gordon Perkins, player who knows this ground well actually. He was signed at the beginning of the season by John O'Reilly after scoring 23 goals in 24 matches for Inglewood's under-18s last season. Costello's ball over the top. Andres Rivera in the penalty area tries to screw back across for Osman, but it's cleared away at the back. And now Cockburn will come forward, striding through the centre of the pitch is Tang. Ivan Scorich will chase after this. Costello's got a little bit more pace though and gets there first and cuts across.
Terrific reading of the game there from Costello to holders run, holders run, holders run. I know exactly when to burst. Scorich will be a little bit upset there in terms of the pass being not as good a pass for him because he would have been in there.
Sorry, Kalichi.
You mentioned Perkins, and I think that's one of the things that people don't speak up about John O'Reilly enough, is that it gives players the opportunity to come and play. So to pick a player out from the 20s and 18s, he's been known to do that and to give youngsters an opportunity to come in there and play MPL. And it kind of beats the perception of Armadale being this long ball team who just play the old-fashioned British 4-4-2. So yeah, keep an eye out for the young players, and again, an opportunity to come out there and play MPL football, and I think Perkins has taken it with aplomb.
Launched forward by Garcella. Jakob's got his head to it. Out of play it goes.
Take the time now to say hello to Sean Fry, watching us from wherever you are in the world, mate. The text message you sent was lovely.
Yeah, one of our fellow commentators here who covers the leagues with us. Hope you're enjoying your holiday, Sean, wherever you may be watching and listening to us from. Tang's ball up the line, might stay in play for Jeff Bright, who's forward from full back, cross into the area, hits Thurston, and Ashwood can come away with the ball. Long raking pass upfield. Andres Rivera tries to bring it down with his chest to raise at the drop of the ball. Now Robinson turning away. O'Brien, Coompson's matched him for strength though. Jakobs. Jelenovic. Jakobs again, continued his run. Good sliding challenge from Tang. Doing exactly what he was brought on to do. Those fresh legs, and now Robinson. He only really had Scorich to aim for ahead of him. Had to wait for the support of O'Brien, who bursts forward from midfield. He's got Scorich still to aim for in the middle. Touch may have come off Thurston. It'll stay alive for Tang in any case. Now Andrade Basto crossing into the area, headed away by Costello back there. Sliding in on Kenner was Robinson. And that'll be a much welcome Armadale free kick, and Robinson, I think, will go into the book for that and does.
Kenner's just done such a good job adding a bit more energy, a bit more dynamism into the field. He might be diminutive in nature and stature, but in terms of heart, in terms of energy, he is superb.
Yeah, played his football at Kingsway most recently, did Charlie Kenner.
Was he one of the old Shamrock recruits when John first came over?
Quite possibly. Testing my memory there, Kalichi. That was quite a while ago now.
You're the best of the business for a reason, Tommy.
Not on this occasion. Thurston's ball upfield. Jelenovic, little back here. Here's the aforementioned Kenner, trying to make something happen. Cross, thought about leaving it for a corner. Realised the ball didn't have the pace on it and helped it back for Jelenovic. He's got targets to aim for in the middle. He comes all the way back for Costello instead. Now Ashwood. Cross into the area, looking for Andres Rivera. Nearly found its way through to the striker. Coompson, little clip ahead of him. Osman was rising. Thurston was volleying. Took a deflection. Still might be here for Jelenovic. And Kenner. Armadale trying to build up ahead of steam. Kenner continued his run. Cross came off Andrade Basto. And it'll be a corner for Armadale. That's much better though for them and their fans.
They're starting
to see that.
Starting to get some sustained pressure now.
And just get the sense that as the game wears on, we're going to see a lot of action to the right of your screen. Armadale fans trying to find their voice, trying to lift Armadale again. It's aimed in, diving and trying to divert the header towards goal was Jakobs, but that was a tough one to try and screw around the corner and on target, and he wasn't able to do so.
I think he's done really well just to get a head onto that one. It was a stooping cross, and to get down that low and try to direct it. It's always going to be difficult.
So midway through the second half of this men's State Cup final in 2022, the 62nd edition of the Cup here in the West. Cockburn City 2, Armadale 0. Goals scored at the beginning of each half by Daniel Robinson and by Harry O'Brien has put the Cockerels in an almighty position here, and one that is going to be hard for Armadale to reel in, you suspect, although they have managed to create chances throughout the day. Tommy Dolman and Kalichi Sunwa with you on the call this afternoon. Wins earlier for Bayswater in the 18s, for Perth Soccer Club in the 20s, and for Perth Red Star in the NPLWA women's competition. A touch over 20 minutes or so left on the Football West Facebook page and on the YouTube channel and on NPL.tv around the state, the country and the world, and even beyond. What have Armadale got up their sleeve here, Kalichi? What can you expect? What can we expect to see from them in the final 20 minutes or so? And what are you wanting to see from them?
What I'd like to see from them is
Andres Rivera, strike at goal, took a deflection. Might still be here for Perkins to cross. Jakobs at the back post was heading into Santic, who recovered. Still here maybe for Coombson, who lost his footing, and a free kick will go Armadale's way.
I was going to say what we'd like to see is a bit more detailed, sustained pressure, but if you can knock the ball 80 yards and Andreas can take it down on his thigh and swivel and get a shot off, you might want to do that every single time, but they need to just get more bodies into the box for crosses, get the overlapping fullbacks on. There's nothing left to lose right now. Cockburn only have one person staying up front and the two centre backs can deal with that, so we need to make sure that Coombson and Thurston are getting up higher up the pitch. Just need to get bodies in the box and get some decent deliveries in. If you can do that, if you can score with 15 minutes to play, it becomes squeaky bum time for Cockburn.
It's a time for risk, that's for sure. Cockburn would love to hang on and go into Wednesday night on a high. Armadale would love to hit back. There's still time for them. Anything can happen. In comes Ashwood's ball, aimed in deep. Costello with a header at the back post. Too far for Andres Rivero. It was nicely worked. It was a nice idea. Just the execution in the header back across goal wasn't quite there.
No, he did really well to get to the far post for that one and to bring a ball across. And they had bodies at the back post, or at the front post, which had then become the back post in this situation. But just the execution not so good. And here is my favourite part of the game, where the goalkeeper gets a little tight. Now we'll just take a couple of seconds off the clock.
He's quick to get back to his feet, though, and get things restarted pretty quickly. Armadale is certainly starting to up the ante a little bit more. Jacobs with the throw. $14 goals across the 4 games so far this afternoon. It's been a bumper day of action here at Inglewood Stadium. Will we see another twist in the tail, or will we see Cockburn break a long run drought in terms of the silverware success? Santic, Robinson, little slide rule pass. Took a touch on its way through. Now Ivan Skoric tangs at the near post. Stuck out a leg, couldn't quite make contact. Clearance only as far as Araya. Andrade Basto. Araya was then fouled by an over-enthusiastic Perkins.
But inexperience just starting to show there a little bit. Firstly, that clearance from Perkins. He cleared it right into the centre of the park. Anyone will know, growing up, you're clearing it long, you're clearing it high, you're clearing it wide. And then to win that free kick there from Araya. Just exactly what Cockburn need in situations like this. Slow it down, give us the ball, slow it down. We'll take our time and make you nervous, make you need to score.
It's at the right end of the ground as far as Cockburn are concerned. They'll happily play the rest of the game in Armadale's half. And they've got a free kick. Let's see how many they commit forward to this one. Armadale, meanwhile, will make a change, and it's going to be Coombson who comes off. A little bit of a limp. Hopefully everything's okay with him. And possibly just a knock. I think that's going to be Lukman Saeed who's going to come on in his place. And it will be so. Another change for Armadale here. Player who can fill in either fullback position, Saeed. Second spell with the club after playing under 16s here in 2015 before a spell with Forestfield. Meanwhile, Tang's free kick is dangerous. Skoric was meeting it. Andrade Basto left it wrongly.
Saeed is another one of those stories and examples of... Oh, we've gone quickly. Yeah, another example of John finding a player who's playing in a state league, a young footballer looking for an opportunity and saying, look, come play for us, and if you work hard you might get a chance of playing in the State Cup final. Who says no to that?
We're hoping it's a happier ending. Minutes just starting to gradually tick down now. Touch over 15 minutes to play. Robinson, O'Brien shouts for handball, nothing doing. Scorich, big target man up front. O'Brien, little clip forward, looking for the run of Tang, those fresh legs.
O'Brien has been terrific. The energy, the experience, the guile, the work, the tenacity. It's been an absolute captain's performance from him so far.
Coming the other way is Jakobs, cross-charge down, desperately trying to keep that in play. Was Baker, wasn't able to do so. Straight into the advertising hoarding.
I like that you say he was trying to keep that in play. I'd be kicking that as far out as possible. Grab a couple seconds of extra breather.
Yeah, just to your point before, Kalichi, O'Brien's definitely been the outstanding player on the pitch today. There's no doubt about that. Meanwhile, the header comes in, and it's a goal! Armadale have a route back into the game. One back for John O'Reilly's team. Hope springs eternal. They've still got a touch under 15 minutes to get back into this one, and it's 2-1.
We've got drama. This is exactly what you wanted. Armadale are right back into this game, and now it becomes a case of mentality. Can Cockburn, do they have enough to stick in there? Do they have enough to hang on? Or are they going to be a little bit nervous, thinking, oh, we don't want to blow a 2-0 lead here? Armadale just need one chance the next 15 minutes, and all of a sudden we might be going extra time.
Peter Jakobs got it. The homegrown boy for Armadale pulls one back for his team. And it's one which really sets up a grandstand finish here at Inglewood Stadium. Kenner driving towards goal. Charlie Kenner still going. Goes to ground.
Oh my
penalty!
Scenes!
And listen to the crowd.
John O'Reilly's hands are up in the air. It seems like all the momentum has changed right now, Tommy. Kenner's come into the game, added energy, added tenacity, and you could see that from that run. He faked a couple times to giving it all the way to Andres Rivera, who's picked up the ball. Drama, sure.
Unbelievable. Cockburn were cruising. Armadale pull one back from the corner, and all of a sudden, they've got an opportunity to set it up for 2-2.
Don't want to tempt fate here, but is there any other player that you would feel comfortable taking a penalty to put you level in a cup final?
No comment. Ryan Barker in goal, facing up to Angel Andres Rivera. A big moment. Andres Rivera steps up, big moment, big goal! 2-2! The Spanish sensation delivers from the spot! And we've got an almighty finish coming up in the final 10 minutes in Inglewood Stadium. It's 2-2!
This might be the greatest comeback since Lazarus. What a turnaround these last 5 minutes have been. And the composure and attitude to hop, skip, and use outside of your foot for that penalty. Absolute class. Put those medals away.
Incredible. Right time to add as well that if it is level at full time, we will have 15 minutes each way of extra time. But look at the pace of this one lift. All of a sudden, Armadale from 2-0 down are back at 2-2, and the Army fans have found their voice behind the goal to the left of your screen.
We mentioned it earlier, you score one goal, anything can happen. If you as a team decide to just become super defensive, hold on to what you have in the opposition, get those goals back, it's hard to change the attitude. What if Cockburn got in here?
Bright's launch forward, Scorich is leaping, partially cleared only as far as Daniel Santich, cross into the area, shouts for handball, given. Free kick on the edge of the area for Cockburn, and a good crossing position for them.
What an advertisement for WA football, Tommy.
been a heck of a game. End-to-end action, chances at both ends. Breathless.
And there's still more time for drama.
I get the feeling we've not seen the last of it yet. Araya's over the dead ball. Cockburn with 7 in the area to aim for. It's David Araya. It's low. It's into the wall. It's a little disappointing. Kenner then slid in. And Araya is swarmed upon by 2 Armadale shirts. He went to ground and he drew the foul. So they'll get a second goal at this Cockburn. A chance to put those bodies back into the mixer.
A little overzealous there. I love the fact that Charlie Kenner's going, but my hands are up, but my hands are up. Could have used your feet there, Charlie.
O'Brien's free kick now. Scorridge at the back post leaping. Under it was Garcella, and it draws a roar from the fans behind the goal. And Garcella looked perilously close to being outside of the area there for a moment as he tried the quick release. Meanwhile, Andres Rivera is giving chase over the top. Callan Baker has got some defending to do here. Can he keep it in play? He doesn't. Flags up on this near side. I think it's going to be a corner. It is. I had my eyes on Albert Miyembe. It looked close. He flagged it pretty quickly. And now Cockburn will respond by turning to the bench, looking to stem the tide. We're going to see Milan Ognjenovic come on for David Araya.
Huge size difference there in that substitution, Tommy. What's that say about the attitude of the coach right now in terms of Cockburn?
His height might be handy, at least in dealing with this set piece. In that comes from Kenner, 2 fists from Barker, volleyed back towards goal by Jelenovic, but over it goes.
That's always a tough volley. The technique you need there as you're backing away. To hit that with any accuracy would have been difficult. Armadale are snapping into tackles. Their tails are up. They found their second win here, and it doesn't seem like Cockburn have got it.
Forward it goes from Baker, headed away by Costello. Osman turns around the corner. Andres Rivera is onside. He'll try and use his body. He goes to ground. Doesn't get the decision on this occasion, and Daniel Sanjic will watch out for a throw. What a game. What a cup final. I said earlier in the game that this is the first time that we've seen more than 3 goals in a cup final since 2012. Not sure we'll get to 4-3 today, as Sorrento and Balcata did that day, but who knows? Given how it's shaken out so far this afternoon, and the decision now goes Cockburn's way, quickly taken by Robinson. Ivan Scorridge, twinkle toes on the edge of the area. Robinson's shot at goal may have been going wide of the mark, but Garcella wasn't to know when he had to make the save. Look a little bit stunned with what you're watching at the moment, Kalichi.
I'm trying to gather my thoughts in terms of what's happening, and it was really interesting there as Garcella was trying to rush up. You could see John O'Reilly say, slow it down, let's get people in position for this long ball, and you can back them right now because they have been winning everything. They do have their tails up, so I can understand them saying, let's get everybody in place and win that second ball like they have.
Jelenovic tried to lane to the feet of Osman. Andres Rivera lays it in. Adriano Jelenovic is offside. Flag went up. He went a little bit too early. He was nicely spotted, though, by a strike partner. And Armadale have certainly blown off the cobwebs, and they're looking the more likely. Is it as simple as Charlie Kenner's introduction, Kalichi? Because that seems to be when the game turned in their favour, or is that just a really lazy assumption to make?
No, it's not necessarily a lazy assumption to make, but he has brought a little bit more tenacity, a little bit more bite, a little bit more energy. And you could see the way that it's freed Abdul a little bit more to be able to push forward. Abdul Osman is able to be pushed forward and then kind of be there for those second balls and those knockdowns. But at the same time, this is football. There's so many variables that can happen, and simply getting one goal, and a goal can come from absolutely anything and absolutely nowhere, or off the head of a Peter Jakob's corner.
Free kick for Cockburn. Forward it goes. 85 minutes on the clock. It's headed away by Costello. Kenner helps it on. And wins the free kick as the lights
It's the easiest
are switched on.
Easiest yellow card Manila's going to give out all day. There's a bit of biff.
Yeah, a couple of players coming together in the centre circle. Let's watch and see what happens. Kenner has just been walked away by Jelenovic. I'm not sure there was anything too severe in there, or nothing at least that I didn't obviously see. Possibly just that initial yellow card is what stands. You always expect that these games can have a little bit of an edge, a little bit of passion and a little bit of determination from players, so you are going to see comings together from time to time, but no harm was done in the end. Another player down on the edge of the area. This time it's Brecken Baker as Garcella looked to try and pump that one forward. He'll have to go again because play will be called back.
Cockburn have to just regather, regroup, and understand that there's still plenty of time for them to nick one. But it's really difficult when you've mentally were 2-0 up.
Garcella's ball forward. Jakob just snuck in behind here. Still got the ball at his feet here, Peter Jakobs. Driving to the area here was Andres Rivera. Gordon Perkins deflected and over.
Superb last-ditch defending by Jelenovic. That's exactly what he's been brought on for, to be solid, to be commanding, and to make sure that nothing silly happens, and that's terrific defending.
Kenner's cross, Barker's under it, and that was an easy take for the Cockburn goalkeeper, and he'll look to release quickly. It was a pretty ugly release, but it worked out okay because Bright was able to help on for Skorich, and he's still going here. Skorich, Perkins was back defending, Bright still forward. Eventually it's helped a little bit wider for Kenner, who just goes bang straight upfield looking for Andres Rivera. All very scrappy in the middle of the park. Can Robinson emerge with it? Ashwood goes up the line instead. And free kick will go Armadale's way, and once again there's a little bit of afters in midfield, but nothing too cynical from either team.
No, it's proper Sunday League and I'm absolutely enjoying it, but for the life of me I don't know why Cockburn keep rushing these free kicks, keep rushing these goal kicks, keep rushing these chance to regather. There's no need to rush the play, especially when it seems like Armadale have all the momentum right now. Slow things down, get to full time. You've got 30 more minutes at extra time. You don't want to be too quick and find yourself in a situation where it's 3-2 with a couple minutes to go. That's the last thing you want. So slow things down, take time off the game, take time off the clock.
Up the line it goes from Ognjenovic. Garcella thought about coming, then eventually made up his mind. Long ball upfield, Andres Rivera hooking over his head. It was Robinson. Perkins managed to keep it in play. Andrade Basto was tracking him.
Crunch!
And then a crunching tackle from Kenner, which gets the crowd on their feet.
If there's one person who epitomizes the Armadale Army fans, that personification on the pitch, it's Charlie Kenner, and the way that he's playing, absolute game changer.
High boot there potentially. No, nothing doing. Costello marauding forward from the back. Caught late. Free kick. Goes the way of Armadale, and now the yellow cards are starting to become a little more frequent.
I don't like the way the players are surrounding him. There's no need for that. He's one of the most experienced referees that we've got. He's a A-League credentialed referee. I think he knows it's a yellow card, boys.
Armadale fans behind the goal to your left, starting to believe, starting to dream that for the second time in 5 years that this could be their day once again. Ashwood and Osman over the dead ball. There's going to be half a dozen runners following it in if there is a fumble or a ricochet back off anything or anyone. It's Osman who's over it. It's over the wall and over the bar as 4 minutes of additional time go up to complete the second half here at Inglewood Stadium. We will have 15 minutes each way of extra time and then possibly penalties as well if it's still level after 120 minutes. Can you stomach it, Kalichi Sunwa?
Absolutely. We're just watching, mate. It's these players have got to stomach it. It's coaches that have to stomach it. It's whoever's going up against Charlie Kenner that has to stomach it.
Kenner was caught late by O'Brien. The tide certainly turned here. Armadale believing that they can win this. The lights come on, the sun starting its path towards setting. Ashwood's ball forward, flick on from Osman, important header away from Ognjenovic. And Cockburn can clear their lines. Costello all the way back, Garcella under the pump. Tang was in the mix to try and charge it down. Up the line from Thurston, back it goes from Baker. Now Robinson, little pass in board. Cockburn might fancy their chances of creating a winner possibly, and then Bright and Cockburn and Garcella come together. And I think the penalty spot has been pointed to, and Yusri Garcella has been shown a red card, and there's late drama here at Inglewood Stadium. Cockburn have been awarded a penalty in second half stoppage time. Yusri Garcella adjudged to have fouled Jeff Bright, who was making a hopeful run forward. Both players fell to ground. I'd have to have a look on the replay as to what actually happened there.
You could see that he did gesture that it had elbow out or something like that, so you can only imagine that once he claimed the ball, he pushed out with some follow through. But from here, from this distance, you're right, Tommy, it's hard for us to see.
We'll sit on the fence with that. What we do know for fact is that Garcella has been shown a red card. Now, have Armadale made all their substitutions? They have got young Alex Fisher on the bench. If they have already made all of their changes, in fact they haven't, because Alex Fisher is now preparing to come on and he's going to replace Adriano Jelenovic. So unfortunately someone has to make way, and it is going to be Jelenovic.
Here's a chance for someone to make themselves a hero. To be fair, I just saw John O'Reilly have a word with his goalkeeper saying, you already had the ball, there was no need to do that. So maybe he's seen something that we haven't seen as well.
Callan Baker's got the ball in his hands. Alex Fisher will come on for Adriano Jelenovic.
That's terrific there from Baker. There's this thing that they're doing right now in the Premier League where someone holds the ball who's not the penalty kick taker to make sure that the person who was the penalty kick taker gets a couple extra seconds to think.
For the second time today, Daniel Robinson steps up to the penalty spot. He scored at the beginning of the game. Can he put the ball in the back of the net with next to no time left on the clock at all? Alex Fisher stands in between he and a match-winning moment for Cockburn City. It's Robinson who steps up. He scores! It's the stuff you dream about the night before a cup final when you go to bed. Daniel Robinson steps up to the penalty spot and looks as though he's going to end Cockburn's 27-year cup drought at Inglewood Stadium, but in controversial circumstances, Kalichi Sunwa.
It's absolutely controversial circumstances, but the minerals from Daniel Robertson to take the penalty last minute of the game and to put it at the exact same place he put it before. Absolute minerals. What a day of drama, and we've still got a couple seconds left.
Not over yet. You wouldn't put anything past it in this game. Armadale have 10, remember. They go long and forward through Ashwood. All hands on deck now for Cockburn. Santich with an important win over Kenner. And Kenner is adjudged to have fouled Santich, and that might just be the breathing room that Cockburn need to take a stride forward to seeing this one out.
Have you caught your breath, Tommy?
Just about. Forward from Calabaker, looking to latch on to the end of it was Scorich. Up the line from Thurston, Tang, Cockburn have the extra player, remember, all they've got to do is keep the ball and they win the cup. Scorich dances away from Ashwood's challenge, pokes ahead to Robinson, headed back by Costello. Cockburn win the cup for the first time in 27 years. A fairy tale for them, with Daniel Robinson, one of their long-serving players, scoring twice from the penalty spot, once at the beginning of the game, once late on as well, after a controversial finish which saw Yusri Garcella adjudged to have fouled Jeff Bright right at the very end, and that meant that Cockburn were provided with the opportunity to win it from the penalty spot in added time in the second half. And Cockburn's number 16 and striker took his chance, he took his moment, he planted it into the bottom corner. What a penalty. They actually led 2-0. Robinson's penalty in the first half, added to by Harry O'Brien's goal early in the second half. Back came Armadale though with an almighty swing. They landed two quick blows and Cockburn were nearly on their feet. Peter Jakob just headed from a corner, and then Angel Andres Rivera from the penalty spot set up a grandstand finish. But then, just as we all thought we were seeing another half an hour plus potentially penalties, there was late drama from Daniel Robinson from the penalty spot, who scored the winner, Kalicha Sunwa. Do your best in summing up that. It was a hell of a game.
It was a hell of a game, is the only way to summarise that. I'm just looking at it now, and you can see the swath of emotions right now. The Armadale players are absolutely gutted. The Cockburn players are just absolutely delighted and full of relief to almost lose after being up 2-0 is such a kick in the teeth, but at the same time, it's such a kick in the teeth in the other way, and you almost wish that no one had to lose in a game like this, in a situation like this, or in a manner like this. But at the same time, this is just the beauty of football. This is just the drama, the ecstasy, the joy, the pain, the anguish. What a day, what a game, Tommy. It's been an absolute pleasure watching it with you as well, mate.
Thank you so much for joining me in the booth, Kalichi. We've witnessed a couple of beauties in recent years, the top 4 cup final last year, and now this game, a 3-2 win for Cockburn City. Daniel Robinson with 2, Harry O'Brien with the other, 2 of their longest serving players. A real fairy tale story here as Cockburn end their 27-year-long silverware drought. And we'll cross down to the trophy presentations with Dan Min. On behalf of myself, Tommy Dolman, and the Sportscast Australia team, we're signing off from Inglewood Stadium. Cockburn, your State Cup winners in 2022. Good night, everyone.
Who's unavailable this afternoon, so in his absence, Football West Chair, Sheriff and Drought will be presenting the medal. The winner today was 11, Harry O'Brien from Cockburn City. Harry, please come over to receive your best player medal. Could the referees please come forward to collect their medallions? Referee Josh Manila. First assistant referee Albert Muyende. Second assistant Liam Howgate. and fourth official Shane Skinner. The runners up Armadale, please come forward to collect their medals, starting with number 4, Nathan Costello. Number 20, Shadon Pasalafra. Number 3, Isaac Crimson. Number 2, Connor Thurston. Number 15, Lukman Saeed. Number 18, Kevin Ashwood. Number 19, Abdul Osman. Number 17, Peter Jacobs. Number 8, Gordon Perkins. Number 14, Cherno Barr. Number 11, Adriana Jelenovic. Number 7, Paul de la Chanellery. Number 9, Angel Andres. Number 22, Alex Fisher. Number 1, Yusri Garsala. Number 10, Charlie Kenner. Number 23, Tarek Atta. And number 18, Eli Holdsworth. With the coaching staff, John O'Reilly, Paul Oliver, Sam Hutchings, Mark Hofstein, Chad McLean, and Mohammed Norris Manu also received their medals. For the winners, Cockburn City, please come forward to collect their medals. Starting with number 2, Callan Baker. Number 4, Daniel Jones. Number 5, Milan Ordinanovic. Number 6, Lucas Caceres. Number 8, Igor Sidanovic. Number 9, Anthony Storich. Number 10, David Araya. Number 14, Lewis Enrul de la Chanellery. Number 13, Jeff Bright. Number 15, Daniel Sanchez. Number 16, Daniel Robinson. Number 17, Justin Tang. Number 19, Ivan Storich. Number 20, Alex Basco. Number 40, Ryan Barker. Number 25, Brooklyn Baker. Number 32, Isaac Dreesen. Number 40, Ben Radanich. And goalkeeper, Michael Craig. To the captain, Harry O'Brien, as well as head coach, Mirko Jelic, also pleased to come. As well as Cockburn City staff, Stephen McDonald, Megan Green, Tanika Lazaro, Heidi Lazaro, Tim O'Brien and John Thorburn. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Men's State Cup Final winners, Cockburn City Soccer Club. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a moment. to all our home teams. Thanks once more to our host, England United, and please drive home safely. Good night.